Dear brothers, I am Adama. Today I will comment on Chapter 8 of Book 1 of Telos. Today we will have one more friend with us, Adama, but he will not speak here. I only comment that he is a great master for us and he has been with us since a long time before the sinking of Lemuria. I will comment on the Temple of Love. This temple is where our religious ceremonies of soulmate take place. There is not much to comment on, just that in our society mutual respect and love are the feelings that unite two people. The big focus today will be comment on their relationships. Why is it so difficult in your world to have someone alongside, full-fledged? First of all, because you haven't learned to love and respect yourselves. You look outside for the things you lack. See in the other this compliment. That's the big problem. The necessity of each one of you needs to be supplied by yourselves, never by the other. The great learning is in loving yourself deeply, until it is not necessary for anyone else to fulfill what lacks to you. You are enough. You love yourself and make yourself happy. This is a difficult state of evolution for your surface, because you have been taught to unite with who to supply what you lack, not by true love, not by that love that happens when the love for yourself becomes complete. This is the right moment for each one to meet your soulmate, your twin flame. I would say that in your society, mainly women, were led to believe that they should always be submissive, that they had no value, that they had no rights to anything, and this used to happen until very recently. Nowadays, women have stood up, but unfortunately the great majority still see themselves as I said, they see marriage and it doesn't matter what they go through, they need to keep it up, until the end of the days. So, I ask you a question, God the Father or Mother is pure love, is God Father or Mother happy to see a child being unhappy? The answer is clear, but you let yourselves be dominated by your religions and don't allow yourselves this happiness. But, on the other hand, what happens? You seek and find someone to fulfill your needs. But the coexistence shows that this is not enough, because it doesn't fulfill all your needs, and the other needs begin to weigh on you. Then, you separate and look for someone else and this movement goes on and on. There is no connection by simple and pure love, there is connection for lack, by the scarcity of what you don't feel in yourselves. So why, instead of looking outside, don't you look inside? This is what happens with most of your young people. They are souls with different consciousness, because they are evolved, but exactly of the disharmony with the world they live in, they try to meet in the other, a way to fill your needs, and in the name of a supposed freedom they get unregulated and loveless sexual union, making all that needs increase, because that moment is so ephemeral, so empty, so devoid of beneficial energy, that nothing is given to them, on the contrary, it leaves them more and more empty. And that young person tries over and over and over to fill that void, but it will never be filled, until one day someone supplies a part of it, and there is that illusion that there is love there and they come together, and given time ahead they realize that there is still a lot to fill. And that young person tries over and over and over to supply this emptiness, but it will never be supplied, until one day someone supplies a part of it, and that illusion that there is love they unite, and given some time ahead, they realize that there is still a lot to fulfill. The consciousness of men and women in relation to relationships needs to evolve. Men need to learn that they are not superior. Women need to learn they are not inferior. Father or Mother God is the balance of masculine and feminine, so men and women are the same thing. No one is superior to anyone. No one is inferior to anyone. This imbalance is what brought your society to the level it is today, to so much disharmony, to so many separations, to so much violence, mainly against women, because they are rebelling, they are putting an end to it, but men still do not accept it, because they see themselves as dominant, as the one who can't be contradicted, as the one who is in control of everything and doesn't accept to be challenged. There will be a time when you get to the level we are today, where people get together by love, and as you saw in the book, there is the connection and the commitment. The connection is two souls coming together, but with no objective of children, they connect only to evolve together, to learn from each other, and if later on they think there is no more that flame holding them back together, they separate and follow another ways, but with a big difference. There is no revolt. There is no pain. Both separate and keep happy because they had that relationship teaching them a lot during a good time, but they separate without any problem and they will have new connections. Until the day, they find those who complete them effectively, and then they make the commitment to live for eternity. For those couples, yes, it is allowed for them to have children. The birth of a child is prepared and planned. It is not like in your world where there is no planning, and children are exposed to all sorts of difficulties due to the irresponsibility of those who fathered them. I would stay here speaking for hours and hours and hours, explaining, showing, trying to make each one of you understand what a healthy relationship is. It is one where each one respects the other's opinion. There are opposing ideas, but there is not the prevalence of either, because that is the way it has to be. A consensus is reached, and nobody feels victorious or loser. There is growth of both. There is the constant attempt at balance, and mainly the respect, because when respect from one to another has ended, there is no more relationship. There is no more union, and many people live this kind of relationship for so many years, becoming unhappy, and not bringing any kind of evolution to themselves. Father or Mother God's objective for each human being on earth is joy and happiness. And joy and happiness are possible for each one of you. The day you fulfill every need you have, but by yourself, with inner change, with change of thought, with actions, but all done by yourselves, never for the other, you will find balance. If you need the other to live, you won't be happy, because if you don't love yourself, you put yourself inferior to thinking that you will be happy, you won't. It is necessary that you don't need anyone else to be happy. It is necessary that the union is of souls with total compatibility in everything that you both learned, but that one doesn't need the other. You are together because you love and respect each other, and if tomorrow one wakes up and feels that doesn't need to be there anymore, that is fine. Each one will follow their own way, with no pain and no revolt. There are not easy concepts for you to accept. Many here are shaking their heads negatively, but I have only one thing to tell. This is the future, and if you think it is so difficult to live within this future, this way, the journey will become very difficult for you. Then, I just advise you, start to review your paradigms, start to review your concepts, but mainly it is not to believe in what I am saying. It is about loving yourself deeply. And when you know that you love yourself deeply and that you don't need anyone else to make you happy, then, at that moment, you will be complete and people will be attracted to your life, but you can also break those connections at any moment, with no pain, and no anger. Are you ready to live this? Think about it.